Hello and welcome to our show Beyond the Classroom. Today we have with us Arjun Asudani, who's graduating from the top of his class at the Ambani International School. Arjun plans to pursue a career in mechanical engineering. He's just been admitted to UCLA, where he'll be starting his freshman year this fall. In addition to having an affinity to the sciences, Arjun's also very passionate about education, music, and football. So, we're very excited to have you with us today, Arjun. Thank you for joining us.
Hi, thank you. I'm very excited to be here.
Awesome, awesome. So let's get started, Arjun. How did you actually come to decide on mechanical engineering? Have you always been passionate about the space?
Right, that's actually a very interesting question. I think for me, I've always been inclined towards the subjects of physics and math. Like I
Yeah.
think they were just subjects that I was drawn to from the very beginning, and um, I guess all of this happened at the backdrop of my father being a mechanical engineer. So he actually
Oh,
studied production
nice.
and mechanical engineering. So I guess there was always that connect I had with him. We could, discuss certain topics. And I guess as I progressed through school, I got more and more inclined to the practical applications of those subjects and actually conducted research on it within school and outside school at my own dad's factory,
Yeah.
spanning from the ninth to the 11th grade. So I think I just realized that, this is something I want to pursue and maybe even help my father in the future if I am in that position. So I guess I've just always had a passion for it and I'm very keen to develop that in the future. And I think apart from that, I do see myself doing something more than that. But I guess the primary goal is to, have my undergraduate experience grounded in the theoretical aspect of this subject, of this field rather.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So many reasons to
Yeah,
pursue it.
definitely.
Um, so, yeah, congratulations, you got into UCLA, which is
Thank you
great
so much.
news.
Thank you.
Yeah, yeah, one of the top 15 mechanical engineering programs. So, that's excellent. But how did you come to pick it? Are you what are your reasons for why UCLA?
Right. So, quite frankly speaking, I don't think UCLA was that on my radar in terms of like in my list which school wanting to go to. But I guess in a way, I just see it as like a blessing in disguise because now that I have come to research about it and obviously I'm going there, I've realized that it is probably the best place for me.
Yeah.
I think the main criteria for me in the entire, decision making process after getting into this college and just deciding was the balance between what happens within the classroom and what happens outside. And I think UCLA is just the ideal place for that.
Yeah.
In the classroom, UCLA is known for its academic rigor, especially within the field of engineering. And I think coming from my school, Dhirubhai Ambani, a very competitive
Yeah.
environment, I have
Yeah.
realized that a place with individuals at my level or better is ideal for me. It motivates me, it challenges me, and I guess it allows me to really tap into my intellectual curiosity. So I'm excited to be in a public school with a lot of people and just I guess also collaborating with them but also benefiting from the healthy competition that it has to offer. So I realized that that's something that is very, very important to me, and UCLA is, in all honesty, perfect at that.
Yep.
Apart from this, it's just got these very cool minors. Specifically, there was just one program called the Data Science and Engineering minor, and I didn't really
Mm.
see that in the other options I had. So I think that was just perfect for me because like it's different from engineering in a way because it's a lot of computer science and math also, but it has some gear towards engineering, which is what I want,
Yep.
and I do want to explore something beyond mechanical engineering, which I saw. I could
Yeah.
honestly go on talking about the amazing opportunities it has, but another great part about UCLA was just, everything outside the class. You have
Yeah.
cool, fun things to do, like kayaking, for example, which I think, I guess just that's just an example of things I want to explore at college. And UCLA is just
Yeah.
perfect for that because I could also just like be a referee for pickup football because I love football so much. I guess just these very
Yeah.
small, cool aspects that it has that just really, really drew me to it. And the food, the weather, the location for internships, it has a 100% job placement, And surprisingly, two-thirds of its classes have a 20-to-1 student to faculty ratio, which was surprising for me
Yeah,
considering
for the
the
UCs.
exactly.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I guess it was just the best of both worlds that really, really drew me to this college.
Yeah, that's so great. And I think, you hit the nail on the head in terms of the exploration it has to offer, and bringing that balance of,
For
the
sure, yeah.
West Coast just naturally offers that. There's so much to do
Definitely,
beyond the
definitely.
classroom with
Yeah,
the good
it's
weather,
really
the
exciting.
beaches. Yeah, that's awesome. And your school, Ambani does have this very strict limit of 12 schools that you can apply to. So how did you, go about finalizing your college list?
That's actually a really interesting question because I think for me initially it was a bit of a bummer as well because you see your friends from other school just applying pretty much
Yeah.
everywhere without
Yeah.
any bounds. So I
Yeah.
didn't really understand it at first, but obviously I guess it was a rule, so I had to stick by it.
Yeah.
Um, but in the end, obviously I realized it was for the best. I think what it really taught me and how I finalized my college list was it just sort of propelled me into researching every single detail very very deeply,
Yeah.
um from like it not just the general aspects but like weather, location, food and stuff like that, and the engineering program, but also specific classes, specific
Mm.
professors, that obviously I could also incorporate in my essays, but also just finding myself and sort of understanding which school is actually perfect for me. And I guess it helped me in a way that I could just have 12 colleges on my list that I'm 100% ready to go to no matter what the circumstance. So in that way, it was great. And obviously, it allowed me to be sensible in the sense by just dividing my schools into four
Right.
dreams, four targets, and four safety.
For
So in
safety.
that sense, it was really great. And it just made the entire process a little more like structured, so it
Right.
was great in that sense, but the overarching benefit was just that it allowed me to research a lot more on each college and
Yeah.
just make the whole process easier that way. And in
True.
the end, frankly, 12 colleges was a lot of work, so I'm glad that
Yeah.
that limit, and I guess everyone understood it towards the end of the process.
Yeah. It also sort of like minimizes the competition to each school. So yeah, there are lots
Definitely.
of
Yeah,
pros
yeah. That, a
to,
lot of
yeah.
more aspects. And I guess you just understand it as you go forward and get acceptances, rejections, and just see the whole process pan out, really.
Yeah. Yeah. So speaking of rejections, right? I mean, I'm sure as any other student this year, you did face a few of those. So how did you deal with them, and how did you deal with some of your top choices maybe not working out?
Definitely. So I think it was a pretty different process for me because I felt all of my rejections right at the end of the application season, mostly pretty much all in March. I heard my
Yeah.
first rejection was straight, I think, on IV day.
Wow.
Because I actually got deferred by my early decision, deferred by two of my earlies,
Right.
and then waitlisted at a couple later. So I think the whole rejection thing hit me really hard because I got rejected by three schools on the same morning, which were obviously Ivies and Berkeley. So it's a pretty
Right.
difficult experience in general. But I
Yeah.
think um, I've always really had this belief that everything happens for a reason. And
Absolutely.
in general, I am more pessimistic than optimistic, but I definitely decided
Mm.
to change my attitude for just this whole experience in general because it had anyways caused me a lot of stress. And I
Yeah.
think by the end, by that time, I just realized that there was just more to life than these college applications. And I knew that I
Yeah.
had good things in store for me regardless. So I tried a different perspective and just making myself 10 times more excited about opportunities I had like UCLA and UIUC and UCSD, which I think made me
Yeah.
appreciate them a lot more and also just made me a lot more certain and excited about my future. And something that really helped me was speaking with my seniors who had dealt with the same rejections. I actually fortunately knew
Hmm.
people at UCLA who had dealt with the exact same rejection. So I just speaking to them made me more calm, made me more relaxed
Yeah.
and more excited about what's to come. Really.
Yeah. That's absolutely the right approach to have. So I'm glad you were
Thank
able to
you.
see it that way. Yeah, and actually, only very few students at Ambani this year made it to UCLA, right? So, what do you think made you stand out in terms of your application?
Right. So I think other than, the standard just requirements, like I think a good grade trajectory and the basic extracurriculars, I think what made me really stand out as an applicant, at least this is what I think, was
Yeah.
just the fact that my extracurriculars were widespread in the sense that
Mm.
I had football, I had music, I had teaching, I had research, I actually had a product that I built. So I think,
Yeah.
I guess it showed my admissions counselors that I could create impact everywhere. And I
Right.
think the overarching aspect that really helped me was the fact that every single one of my extracurriculars tied into this theme that revolved around each and every one of them. And for me personally, that
Yeah.
was education, which was my way of helping my community through initiative, through leadership that I took in
Yeah.
each and every one of these areas. Like, uh, for example, in terms of football, I mentored younger students at my school, and I was the captain of my school football team for long. I took part in several competitions,
Yeah.
tried my best to win, man of the match awards, and just take them for my team, take them for my coaches, which I brought out through my essays. For music, I kickstarted Beats for Betterment, which is a
Yeah.
non-profit that encourages education in the arts. For teaching, I had Edify, a non-profit where I taught students physics and math through a summer program and then curated my own website and course content. For
Mm.
research, I sort of understood the fundamentals of my research and applied them in my father's factory, interacted with people, and just had generally nice discussions with them. And my
Yeah.
product was based around helping the elderly. So overall, it was just educating and helping people in my community through initiative, which I thought made me stand out.
Yeah, yeah. I think that makes a lot of sense. Your profile and your story has a very natural extension to it in terms of leadership that you extend through education. And I really like that. As someone who performs yourself and have been into music for a long time, you have Beats for Betterment, and then with STEM, you have Edify. And you're also a certified Udemy instructor, right? Which is so cool.
Yes, so yeah, I,
Yeah.
I did it. I saw it really just worked in my favor in the sense like I really, really enjoyed it curating course content. So I just thought, if it helped so many students, I thought it could just help everyone online. And I would
Yeah.
also just like to mention that like a lot of this might seem like it was outside school, but I also made sure I was involved in school by being part of the student council and I guess constantly taking part in activities, planning
Yeah.
debates for my teachers, for example, that would just help me within my recommendations. So yeah, that was
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. Yeah. That's really great. And can you just tell us, about the initiatives that you just talked about, Beats for Betterment, Edify? How did those come into being? How long ago did you start them? Because they are a big part of your story. So if you could just deep dive into those a little bit more.
Right. So I'll start with Edify because obviously that was before.
Yeah.
So back in the 10th grade, obviously my board exams had gotten cancelled because of the pandemic. And I just saw my younger brother who was trying to figure out a certain physics problem. And I just, explained it to him and I realized that, listen, I have 3 months here. I could just
Yeah.
help so many people sort of figure out these particular physics problems that I'm so passionate about.
Right.
So fast forward 3 months, I've raised around 40,000 rupees by teaching around 20
Hmm.
students for over 30 hours. And I guess just realizing that education is something I'm passionate about. And if I could spend 30 hours and enjoy them helping others,
Yeah.
maybe I can build an entire website to put my course content out there and give other people a chance to, have access to it and just brush off the IGCSE content easily and just revise it easily. So I guess I took 2 to 3 months, created videos from scratch, incorporated visual, auditory, and kinesthetic learning into my videos, and just created Edify and just sent it out to whoever could benefit from it. And I guess this was just my way of helping them. So this was the entire Edify aspect and
Gotcha.
non-profit that I started, and it was with this same brother of mine, Yash, who I kind of started and got the idea Beats for Betterment with. It was his name. This was actually his name.
Yeah.
Um, as you mentioned, I've been passionate about music all my life. It started off as
Yeah.
me being just the bathroom singer to perform several charity events, and I guess what I learned is I learned the power of music. So many people guided me through my way. So many people taught me, and I just thought that I could help underprivileged children in the exact same way. And it didn't
Right.
really have to be restricted to music, because I have so many friends who have years and years of experience in poetry, drama, dance. And I just thought that the arts was just something that could, help underprivileged children with. So I tied up with this organization called the Light of Life Trust. It's a charity organization that I work with today, actually. Like to date, I'm still working with
Wow.
them this summer.
Yeah.
And we actually conducted workshops for over 160 students in the arts, including disabled children as well. So it was just a great experience. And the good part is that I have my younger brother to, take it forward here
Yeah.
while I'm
Yeah.
at college. And, maybe actually do something around it at UCLA as well. But that's pretty much how it happened. Yeah.
Yeah. And I like, that you had this entire aspect to your story because, typically other engineers are very academic and, just into STEM, but you had this whole aspect of creativity, music, just making you more well-rounded and multidimensional. So, yeah, that's really interesting.
Thank you.
And this, yeah, and this actually really connects well to your Common App essay, right? Because I think
Right.
this is
Yeah.
exactly what you talked about in there. So of course, the Common App essay is super important as part of your application. So tell us about how you went about coming up with this idea and what your idea was.
Right. So my Common App essay essentially revolves around the concept of jack of all trades, master of none, where
Hmm.
I kind of just describe the conflict I experienced while, I guess, trying to find a label in school. I think when I
Yeah.
was younger, it was just always about finding my place in school, but I was always so confused with the entire music world and the football world,
Mm.
because I was one foot in one door, the other foot in the other. So it was just very confusing for me.
Yeah.
And I just came to the realization that I was nothing. I didn't have my true label without my two foremost passions, without my two foremost hobbies, which are football and music.
Good.
Because both of helped me find myself, explore my skills. They've helped me be a mentor and be a student, which are
Mm.
two very, very integral parts to just learning and education in general. So I guess it just goes around me. It just revolves around me describing finding this label and completing the phrase which is a jack of all trades, master of none is oftentimes better than a master of one. So it really just and I guess the good part about the essay was allowing myself to talk about these initiatives that I undertook and giving myself the breath and way to actually just incorporate my extracurriculars, my
Yeah.
initiatives in my essay, but also making it just about myself, my thoughts, my ideology, and essentially like my story as a person.
Yeah, yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Thank
Now, speaking about essays, what essay would you say in terms of even your supplemental essays and everything else through this entire journey did you enjoy working on the most, and what were you most proud of?
Right. I think, hands down, I'm most proud of my essays that I submitted to Duke University,
Yeah,
which is my only decision, although I'm not going there. I still
yeah,
think I truly, truly enjoyed working on those the most, because initially it was just the start to my uh, to my college application journey, because it was the
journey.
first school that I started working on. And their essay prompts are very, very introspective. I really could think about
Yeah,
myself, my story, and my journey. And I did get deferred. So I did send them a supplemental essay, which was actually a unique take on how much I really love the school. So I actually curated a crossword about Duke from the ground up. So it was like clues on places at Duke, and
yeah,
the explanations were just things I had done since submitting my application to tie into those clues and just show how much of an impact I can create at Duke. And
yeah.
it was just a pretty
Wow.
cool experience. So I really, really
Yeah.
enjoyed
Yeah, that is so creative. I really, enjoyed seeing that and actually seeing the amount of work and detail you put into it. So yeah, that's
Thank
super
you. Thank
impressive.
you.
And
It was a great experience. I hope it could, help others if they're ever in that.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. Because I think, now more and more it's important to be able to stand out from the pool of the, deferred
Definitely,
students.
definitely.
Um, yeah, so great creative approach.
Thank you.
Awesome. So with that, we're actually going to move into a segment of our show, which is called the rapid fire. I'm just going to shoot
All
questions at you, and you can just tell me the very first thing that comes to mind for you.
right. Okay, great.
Yeah, are you ready?
I'm ready. Let's go.
Okay, so one word to describe the entire college application process.
Invigorating.
One word to summarize the last 2 years for you.
Busy.
Top three things you're going to be packing for college.
So definitely my laptop,
Hmm.
pictures with family and friends to put up on my wall, and obviously because I'm in LA, I'd say floral t-shirts. I love them.
Yeah, I like that. The first meal you're going to cook for yourself once you're in college.
A pretty tough one, but butter chicken and naan if I can. I'll try my luck with
Wow.
that. Yeah,
Yeah, that'll take some mastery. Where do you hope your younger brother will go to college?
or with me at UCLA.
Yeah, that'd be nice. Frank Sinatra or Elvis Presley?
Frank Sinatra. I've been singing a lot more of his music lately.
Great. Tesla or Ferrari?
Tesla.
And one club you hope you'll join in college?
I don't know if this is exactly a club, but definitely an a cappella group. That's one thing I really look forward to.
Yeah, that'd be so cool if you can create like
For
a
sure,
pen
for sure.
masala version at
Yeah,
UCLA.
for
Yeah, that'd be
sure.
really
Yeah.
cool.
Pen masala is pretty cool. Something like that.
Yeah, yeah, do it. Um, okay, so just I mean, with that, reflecting on this entire college application
Hmm.
journey, and now looking back, is there one thing you could change about your college application process? What would it be?
That is an interesting question. Um, this is actually something I have thought about. So in school, we were told to fill our teacher recommendation forms, which is just sort of
A brag sheet.
chalking
Yeah,
out everything you've done and basically,
yeah,
yeah, basically that, and
yeah,
just showing your teachers, telling your teachers what to write in the recommendation. So for
yeah.
me, I think I did this very, very early on in my
Hmm.
application process. So I don't know how much it aligned with the voice I was trying to portray in my essays 5 6 months down the line. So I think if I had to redo something, it would definitely be taking some more time on those, really thinking them through more, and incorporating everything I want to tell about myself or portray myself with in those forms. So I think I would definitely sort of, just go through that once again, give it another look maybe, but well, it's all done and I'm still satisfied with the outcome. But that's one thing I would definitely just change. But for me, very specifically,
Nice, nice. Yeah, I think that's really important advice because recommendation
definitely
letters are
right.
key, and many students, like you said, don't put as much input into those brag sheets, and doing that would will definitely help.
I think for
Um,
me personally, can I just say a little more?
yeah, yeah.
For
Please
me
do, please
personally,
do.
yeah, for me personally, it's like I had a lot to say. I just think
Hmm.
during my college applications, I was very fluid in terms of deciding maybe which secondary major to put, what to talk about
Yeah,
in my essay. And that's why this could also just be me overthinking. But like, I just think that it could have not aligned. So for whoever's out there, it's always important to just make sure it's the same voice that you're talking with the entire time. That's very, very
yeah,
important. It's something
yeah.
that I think I could have improved on.
Hmm. Yeah, that's good reflection and advice. And actually, continuing on in that vein, and sort of summing up this part of our show, what advice would you want to give to younger students going through this application process at the moment?
Right. I actually have quite a bit to say, but I'll try and keep it as short as possible. First thing is definitely start as early as possible. But starting early, I would say, is nothing without consistency. You've got to be consistent on the ball, stay
Yeah,
alert, and plan. Because even like I only had 12 colleges, and it was quite a bit for me, especially with the workload that comes across with the IB. It's
yeah,
pretty difficult, so it's important to I guess it's very, very easy to drop the ball and procrastinate, and I found myself in those positions at times, not just when you're starting the applications, but when you're building on your extracurriculars right from the 10th, ninth, or 11th grade, whichever stage you're at. So it's just
yeah.
important to stay on schedule. The next
Hmm.
is what I said right before this in the previous question, is make sure your voice and your goals are clear cut from the very beginning, because that helps you to avoid any discrepancies in two forms you might fill or two essays you might write. So it's very, very important to just be who you are throughout and not
Hmm.
try and be what admissions counselors might want you to be. It's
Right.
it's sort of seeing everything from your own perspective rather than theirs, which is very, very important. I think the next one is just honestly trust your counselors, because they have a much better sense of what you're capable of, where you can, where you cannot get in. It might be a little tough to hear the reality sometimes, but that's what's best for you in the long run. You'll see
Yeah.
it through right in the end, post March, when everything's done. And another important thing is, this is UCLA specific, but the general assumption is that once college apps are over and you have mock exams and final exams, you can just drop the ball and not study too
Yeah.
much. But I think this year,
Yeah.
I don't know, this is something new for UCLA, but we actually got a conditional for 38 out of 42 IB points. Otherwise, you actually have to
Hmm.
apply for college to come, which was a
Wow.
surprise to all the 5 people from my class going there. So, although it's not very, very difficult, it is, because you are admitted to UCLA for a reason. It is
Right.
something to keep in mind, and it just, I guess, kind of shows you that you have to be consistent right till the end of
Till
your
the
last
end.
exam. So,
Yeah.
just one thing I want to tell everyone: I was surprised myself, so I had to kind of adapt. But just please
Yeah.
make sure you do that. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. Yeah, so consistency, maintain a voice across, trust your counselor, and don't get into seniorities. So that's really good advice.
Yeah,
All right, so that's everything from Arjun. Thank you so much again for joining us. I
no
hope you
worries.
enjoy your summer before you head off to
Thank
UCLA.
you
We're going to
so
enjoy
much.
even more sunny weather, and I hope you are able to master that butter chicken and report to us how that
Thank you
goes.
so much. I'll try my best and get back to you.
All
It was a
right.
great
Thank you.
conversation. Thank you.